Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Vision Central Gardening on May 27th, 2022. It's just a few minutes before 11:30 when we're going to start today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we're just going to wait a few minutes to make sure everyone can come in and join and get ready for this. I'm looking forward to today's section. We got some cool videos from our coaches showing the different ways of using their eSight regarding gardening and looking at plants and so forth. And hope you all have lots of fun. And we're also going to have a Q&A session at the end. So if you guys have any questions or any or techniques or what we were trying to show, definitely able to show that as well. So feel free to ask questions and stuff at the end. And also, your coach is always available to assist you with your eSight. So if you want clarification on something, or like to go over something and learn how to do that technique, give your coach a call, and they'll be happy to have a support call with you to help you and show what we've done. And I don't have music, and I don't plan on singing. I know back in the day, you all would run music, and I've tried to do it, but the audio quality is a little bad. I'll just have to. My garden here at home, I have a number of plants and stuff in the backyard, and I've been planting over the years. My backyard, when I first moved in, had nothing in the back, and I've added some bushes, and I've added some variety of things. And before we started, I was telling the coaches I have some smoke bushes in the backyard, and these are plants that have green leaves that can turn purple, and then the flowers that come out are kind of very puffy and very stringy, kind of like smoke, hence the name. And I've enjoyed looking at those with the eSight and cranking up the contrast to see it. But one of the interesting things I had was I have two smoke bushes near my back basement windows, and one of them in the spring I noticed was chewed down. It wasn't nearly as tall as it was when I left it, and it turned out there was an animal chewing it down, maybe a chipmunk, and then there were actually holes in the ground around the bush that were digging underneath the bush, and I could use the eSight to zoom in and see the holes, and there were actually some debris covering the holes, like the little entrance doors, and that was very cool. But I thought that bush was dead, and lo and behold, I could use the eSight to see there were buds coming out, and I could see that it was alive. So it's flourishing right now, but albeit it's very tiny. And so things like that I've enjoyed using my eSight for. I'm a hobbyist gardener trying to make my backyard look decent, and just knowing the eSight's there to kind of go exploring my backyard and see a variety of things. So coaches, just looking at the time here, it is 11:31. Why don't we get started? Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, so we're going to get started here. So today's agenda, we're going to do an introduction, housekeeping, and then we're going to learn about using our eSight when we're gardening and handling plants and looking at things. And then at the end, we're going to have a question period. This is a live, so things might happen. I might mispronounce words. We might have technical issues. Who knows? So we're just going live, and just be patient if something goes wrong. This is for users only. So this is only for eSight users. There's no one outside of a user. So feel free to ask any questions about eSight. Feel free to be comfortable in this environment with any questions or concerns of what we're trying to show and what we're talking about. You can raise your hand to ask questions throughout the program as well, if you don't want to save your question at the end and you might have something. I know Jeanette is looking at the participant list, and to raise your hand on the Windows computer, it is Alt and Y, and a little yellow hand will pop up on your screen. And to lower your hand, it's Alt and Y again. And on a Mac computer, it's Command and Y to raise your hand and lower your hand. You can also unmute yourself as well if you have questions. And also, this session should only take about 30 to 45 minutes. It may be a little shorter, just depending on how we're going. We do have a number of videos though to show, and hope you all find them interesting and fun. So just want to start off with the basic foundation with eSight. The first thing always to make sure is that your device is fitting properly. So your eSight excuse me, your eSight 3 and your eSight 4, everything's feeling comfortable, so you can wear it for a variety length of time. You know, you don't want it to be too tight so it's uncomfortable. You don't want to be loose, so if you're bending over looking at plants and moving around, you feel it's going to slide. So always make sure to adjust the halo knob or adjust the back strap on your eSight 3 to make sure things are very snug and secure. eSight is designed to keep you mobile with the bioptic tilt. So definitely, you know, we utilize that. You know, we definitely utilize that today when we're talking about gardening and so forth. So we can do, you know, hand-eye coordination. We're looking through the camera and picking things up, or even just tilting the glasses up and then, you know, reaching underneath and picking things up. I like using bioptic tilt quite a bit, especially when I'm in the backyard going around looking at things. So I can kind of, you know, see what I'm doing and then tilt the glasses down to zoom in on something and see what I'm looking at. For those that have an eSight 3, cable management is important. So that definitely helps, especially in these type of activities where you maybe say looking at plants in the backyard, maybe looking at removing dead leaves and so forth. You want to make sure your cable doesn't get snagged on anything. So making sure your cable is tucked over the back of your shoulder maybe, or pinned to your shirt with a safety pin, just help it from getting snagged and so forth. I will freely admit as a coach that over the years I have been messing with my eSight 3 or my eSight 1 model, and I've gotten it tangled a little bit and I have to take time to untangle it, which is not always fun. So I find I just make sure it's always tucked away. So if I am doing anything around a sizzle bush or anything like that, I can remove that. Also, if you're a eSight 4 user, just keeping additional batteries on hand, or just you have a good plan on how long you're going to be outside. So if you're going to need an extra battery, you know, for me, you know, if I'm outside doing something, I know I'm not going to be out for 2 hours. We know that external battery will last for that long, so we'll be good. But if I'm going to be outside trying to do a project or something, I may want to have the extra battery on hand so I don't have to worry about going back into the house if my hands are dirty and so forth. It's just a matter of just kind of knowing what I'm going to do and just knowing how the other battery supply on hand. So we're going to talk about using eSight in the garden and just kind of gardening stuff in general, that what that involves. So we're going to go over reading packaging labels with Cosmo. He's got a bottle of I think it's weed killer or fertilizer he's looking at. And then we're going to look at some contrast work with plants. Judith submitted a video looking at her living plant wall, and it's a kind of cool showing what the contrast does for her. With that video, the audio is a little bad, so I may chime in and add something with it. It's just the nature of recording the audio through the eSight. Also, we're going to talk about checking on the quality of vegetables and fruits with Richard. We have a video we're going to show there. And you know, if you're gardening and you're growing things in the backyard, or you're looking at things, you get an idea of good quality of what it looks like, see any blemishes and so forth. And then we're going to end it off by looking at shopping for plants at a store with Jeanette. And Jeanette goes to a store and shows a couple of videos there. And then we'll have a Q&A session to wrap everything up. Oh, my bad. So first, we're going to start off with the reading package, reading the package video with Cosmo. With Cosmo, I'm going to pull up your video, and Cosmo asked for me to increase the sound on the video, so I shall do that.
So that way you can hear my narrator. And so I'm looking at a bottle of grass growing stuff, and I have my narrator turned up to 7. The audio won't be very good, but it'll help us know when I'm zooming in and what contrast I'm doing. So this bottle is a little shiny, and so that can sometimes give it trouble, but right now you can see it's doing well. I'm at about times 16 zoom. Right now I'm using the finder feature. If you were wearing the eSight, you'd see the little box that doesn't come across when you record video. So right here you can see that's a green text, and then it's got that white and lighter green color behind it. So right here I increased the contrast, and that darkened up that text a little bit. For me, that made it a little bit easier to read. And I increased it again right there, one more notch, and so that made that dark text stand out a little bit more. And so you can see right there, there's a little bit of sunlight reflecting off. That can make it challenging, but the eSight's still handling it pretty well. And so I'm turning the bottle right here to try and reduce the glare from the outdoor light. There's finder, zooming out, getting my bearings. And in a minute, I'm going to do a color filter. So right there, it's having trouble focusing. And so right now I'm on outdoor mode. And so I'm going to switch it over to reading mode. And I always encourage people, just try things the simplest way. So I just stayed on the mode I was on. Right there, I switched to reading mode, and you saw it got sharper. So if you don't have to make adjustments, don't. Just stick with zooming in and keep it simple. And then when you need to make further adjustments, then you can. I'm adjusting contrast, increasing it a little bit, made that the green darker behind those letters. And off towards the left there's some more glare, just a shiny label. And in a minute, I will turn on color filters.
But they don't come across on the video, though. That's the.
Oh, they don't?
Note when you're recording, they don't come across.
Oh, that's disappointing. So one thing the filters worked well, but one thing to keep in mind, glare really plays with the filters. So like where you're seeing the white glare off to the left, that is a bright white in the filters. And so grayscale is what I would have liked for right there. And now you can see, because I'm on reading mode, I have mine set to the exposure being off, manual adjustments. And so it's not adjusting right there. And now I turned it back to outdoor mode, and you can see the camera's adjusting really quickly for the exposure. So there you go. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Cosmo. That was good. And thank you for the explanation at the end with going back from reading mode to outdoor mode. Because it does have that moment where you're looking through the video and it looks a little blurry, and then you go, aha, I'm in the wrong mode. Let me go to a mode where it auto adjusts, and then the picture comes right back into focus. That's great.
Yeah. And so I always encourage my users to keep it simple. Don't change modes if you don't have to. But then when you do, especially when you're first starting off the eSight, when you come across something that doesn't look good enough, make a note, talk to your coach, and then we can explore, well, what adjustments can we make? And so there you have it.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. So next we're going to look at some contrast work with Judith. So I'm going to pull up her video here. And this video, I'm going to have the audio playing, but it might be a little challenging to hear, but I'll kind of explain what she's trying to point at. She has a living wall, which is a plant wall that looks like it waters itself. So she starts off by trying to describe the wall, and she's showing at the bottom there's a silver tank, which is the reserve. Then there's a water looping system, and then she had the timer on the side that helps run the feed of the plant. So.
Good morning. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys about plants. I'll sort of take a view. This is my living wall, which I have at home. And the reason that I got this is because I'm not so good with plants. I love them, but I find that if I have to fully take care of them on my own, sometimes I have difficulty. So this really inspired me. The plant wall is actually doing quite well. I'm going to show you, I'll scan it. And I'm lucky because I have this reservoir system below that I can put on a timer. The timer is over here, and it's great because it helps feed my plants on a time schedule. So what I tend to do is I will come over to the wall and I'll kind of glance through. I find if I don't have my eSight and I'm glancing, everything sort of looks the same. But I'm just going to back up over here for a second and grab my remote. When I add contrast, I feel like the colors really, really pop, and then I can see what needs to be picked out or removed. Let's see here. Okay, so see when I increase the contrast here, this one here to me, I feel that it's fading. And so I can just reach back in.
What she's doing is using the contrast to remove any dead leaves that she sees.
And pick it out, which is amazing, because otherwise I could not see to do that. Looking around, it's looking pretty good. but just a simple push of the contrast really makes it pop. Looking through, seeing if there's anything else. I think I did a pretty good job. But it really makes planting and taking care of plants a lot easier, to give it a boost in contrast now and then, and shows you what really needs help.
So she's just saying how much the contrast
Yeah, I think
helps with
that's it.
seeing the plants and different qualities of the plant. The one
All
thing
right,
I
well,
like with
enjoy
this,
planting and gardening, and really try to maximize the use of your eSight for this task, because it really does make it fun.
okay. So the one thing I liked with Judith's video there, showing the living plant wall, there's a variety of plants. There's a variety of contrast of the leaves. So there's some leaves that are dark that have white lines coming through them. There's some leaves that are just pure, almost like a very light green. And with adding contrast, you can see that detail and see what needs to be plucked out. One of the things I found really interesting when I first started using my eSight was, going to a flower store and like being at a little flower stand and a plant stand and zooming in and then seeing the different kind of texture of the leaf and so forth, and not, it's one thing for me when I was younger to take it off a tree and look at it, but another thing to kind of be like the shape of the bush and or the style of how the plant is sitting, and I think it's quite neat. And I actually have a tropical plant upstairs in my dining room that is been growing quite well, but the leaves grow from the center out, and I can use my eSight to zoom in. With my normal vision, just like a massive green, but with the eSight, if I add contrast, I can see the little shoots coming out of the center. I can definitely tell the plant is growing and doing well. So with the living plant wall, Judith doing the same thing, adding contrast, being able to see the quality of the leaves and being able to adjust them if needed. All right, so next we're going to move on to checking on the quality of vegetables and fruits with Richard. This will be useful if you look gardening and you get stuff in the backyard. I'm not sure how good it looks and so forth. I know for myself, I've been always a little gun shy to do some gardening and planting things just because something's rotting and so forth. You may not be able to tell. Never got into it, but Richard's got a great little video here, and Richard, I'll pull up your video, and you can explain what you're showing.
All right. So, okay. So as you can see, I have an assortment of different fruits and vegetables. You probably can't grow them all. Maybe Jeanette might be able to grow an orange or a banana, but the rest of us are probably stuck with peppers and apples and potatoes.
Here in Florida, just because they probably don't know why you said that.
So what I'm doing here is I'm zooming in, and what I like about this is I'm using very basic functions of the eSight. I'm using zoom, contrast, and here in a minute I use the finder. So now that I've zoomed in on the potato, I'm just looking for bad spots, big eyes on it or something, anything that I'll need to take off if I'm peeling or slicing after this. Also looking for any like just egregious dirt that is still there, that type of thing. So I'm just kind of spinning. I've added a little bit of contrast, but as we go on, you'll see I will add more for the different vegetables and whatnot. Now I'm gonna, in just a second, hold the finder, which will take it out of magnification, and then I follow my hand to grab an apple. So it's also important to note that because the eSight, the eSight likes light, and you need light to be able to see the eSight, properly. I am using my flashlight. That is actually, my flashlight is on. So where that was great for the potato, it's putting a little bit of glare on this apple. So basically where that glare spot is, I'm kind of looking to the side of it. And once again, I've increased my contrast so you can really, I'm really looking to see if we have any dents, if we have any dings, anything like that. But this ends up being a pretty good apple. So, and once I'm done with that, once again, I hit the finder, use that to get my bearings and grab the next item. And once again, so this is a banana, and I'm super particular about what bananas I Yeah, so like this would not work for me because I can see all of the different spotting and stuff. Like this is a banana that is destined for banana bread. But you know, but I'm a little too picky to have that. So what I'm doing is I'm scanning very slowly from the left into the right, just like you would if, oh, anyway, just as you would do that, like if you were reading or something of that nature. And you could see that as I'm scanning, the camera is staying with it. It doesn't need to refocus quite as much because I'm going very slow and very methodically. And that's a tip that, I took from reading. When you're reading with the eSight, you're doing things very slowly and very methodically. I use the same technique here while I'm checking the fruit. So thank you, Tyler, for getting us back.
The second one ended a little shorter because you're using the flashlight, and then this one's a little different when you're not using the flashlight. So you're not using the flashlight here, but you're looking at the orange, so it's not as reflective.
Yeah, yep. And because I was recording, it's not as easy to get to the flashlight, to the different menus and stuff. And so that is why we have the two different videos here. But yeah, once again, with the orange, I'm looking for any, like, those spots you get on them that look kind of like ulcers or something, and that's fine. Again, cucumber, this is going to be something that you find, out in your garden that you grow, pretty common to grow. We usually grow cucumber and or zucchini. They're very similar. I use the same techniques as I did with banana, scanning very slowly back and forth. Then I would turn it and then scan again back and forth. Just bringing in all of those different techniques. And I'm using, once again, very simple functions of the eSight. These aren't, you don't need advanced kind of training when it comes to the zoom, the contrast. This is the heart of the functions that you will be using, every day. The only other thing that I had that I'll kind of explain is the very last item that I looked at was another apple. And this apple, I could see from the glare, actually, I could tell there was a little bit of what looked to be like a dent. So then I increased the contrast and I can identify, yes, indeed, it's a little bit of different coloration. At that point, I can run my finger across it and I know for sure, yeah, this apple has a bruise on it. So, it's one of those things where, you zoom in to try to, get a good picture of it. And then you can add your contrast to see if there's any discolorations, anything that doesn't look quite right. And then if you do find something, you can always, follow your hand, rub your finger across it. That gives you that extra, oh, it's soft. I can tell something's not quite right. And basically you can use all these tips, not only just in your garden, but when you're looking for produce in the store. So I hope that was helpful.
Sure, excellent. Thank you, Richard. That's great. Next, we're going to look at some shopping for plants at a store with Jeanette. So Jeanette, I'll pull up your video here.
Beautiful. Okay, so I went to a place called Lowe's, which is a hardware store. They have them all over Florida. And just panoramic, just showing you that I'm in the store. This is the kind of thing you're going to be confronted with. And I went to the plants. And I was just looking generally, because what you tend to have, you see at the bottom there's a whole array of plant pots, and they're very low down and they're very difficult to read because the writing is so small. But here I honed in on the price, which of course they always make that to be the attractive feature. And underneath I was trying to just read what this was, and you can see there that the writing is becoming a little easier to read. And again, one has to, I find, just scan slowly. If we scan too quickly, it loses focus. So I did increase the Zoom quite substantially so that you guys can also see what I'm reading. I think you can see that's a tropicals. That tells you that I'm in Florida. There you are, you see. And that is on the price tag. Now, I'm also looking at the particular plants themselves. Interesting, I have some of these outside of my office. They're lovely. But I just wanted to see what the name was. You can see I'm looking at a plant pot. And again, the price is nice and large. And the manufacturer tends to be large, and it's in yellow. That's also the name. But anything else on that label, including the barcode, they're difficult to get to because they're at an angle. Oftentimes, as we saw at the beginning of the video, you have a row of plant pots at the bottom. So you have to, I was kneeling down at this point, okay, and trying to spin myself so that I could actually read the inside of the plant pot. And I've got it there. And it's facing inward, okay? It's not facing out because they've got pots in a row next to each other. So I'm trying to home in on it and read. And I'm probably about 10 inches away, I'm going to say, but I'm leaning in to see the inside of the circular pot that's facing another pot. So you see, I'm trying to show you that there's a row of them and the writing's inside of them. So it's not easy to get to, but you can do it. And then I'm standing up again, and like both Cosmo and Richard mentioned, the use of the finder, F-I-N-D-E-R, is invaluable. Look at those beautiful sort of flowering plants there. You can see so if you know roughly what you're looking for, you can also use your eSight to identify the plant visually. You see that? If you don't, then of course you can kneel down like I did and do a yoga posture and see if you can get into the angle of those plant pots to read the ridiculously small writing on the plant pots. See, I can see the ridges of the plant pot. Can you see that? The ridges of the plant pot, because I'm zoomed up very high, because the writing is like dictionary print. It's ridiculous. So these are the techniques that we can use with our eSight. And you can see again, Richard and Cosmo both demonstrated, the camera tends to need a little time. So I would emphasize, take your time when you are, engaging in this kind of activity, because the focus, and I've got it on indoor mode actually, and the focus can take a while to give you the best image that it thinks you're wanting in terms of what you're reading.
Because that label is also wrapped with on a curved surface. So when you're looking at the moment for it to read, okay, it's trying to, this is the way you're lining it up. The one thing too that's interesting when looking at pots, we're also dealing with the lighting in the store and the shade of the plant. So like the plants you're looking at, they're not a very leafy and very broad. So that label, it's going to be maybe a little more challenging to take something else, which is sitting out out in the open, it's just like an orchid or something with not a lot of leaves blocking that label. I know I've dealt with that myself in a store where I'm like, where is the label? I'm spending time looking for it because it's hiding under a leaf coming over the edge of the pot.
Yeah. And you can see that I use the finder there, even though normally with the finder, you'll get a little box that comes up representing where the camera is pointing. And that is very helpful. But of course, in the video, that doesn't actually show up, but you do see the fact that it zoomed down and then suddenly it zooms up. Now in this video, I'm actually looking at fertilizers. So I've gone to a different section of the store and I was just scanning the shelves. You can see they're mixed in with the flowers, with the plants. So it's not always easy to find them. So I found that, again, increasing the contrast very slightly, as Richard and Cosmo both demonstrated, and Judith said the same thing, that sometimes in situations, a little contrast with the eSight 4, you need very little. It does make things pop a little better. Now, here's a pack of fertilizer. I did not know what this was. I just picked it up. And there's no way without eSight I would have been able to read this. No way. I've got it zoomed up quite a lot. I'm going to say about 10 times. And you can see, you'll start to see the make, and you start to see better grow. You start to see what this is. And you can see that there's some glare on there. You might be thinking, where's that coming from? The little shiny diagonal lines that some of you can probably see on that screen. It's actually the reflection of the packaging and the store lighting reflecting in the packaging. So I'm not using my eSight light at this point. It's just the store. And so I was able to read that orchid growth writing on there, but you just have to take your time and get it in the right angle, and I was holding it at about 10 inches away. So that was just a small experience. Again, the finder, the zoom, a little bit of contrast, and moving slowly definitely helps.
For sure. That's great, Jeanette. Thank you. And all these techniques to apply, like if you're in the garden, say, trying to dig a hole and so forth, if they, add a little bit of zoom and then bring your tool into view, and you can dig around, and if you're moving a plant or transferring a plant, and check things out that way. When Jeanette showed me that second video, immediately I was like, why is that in the middle of a whole bunch of plants? Because in general, with my low vision, I look and go, well, there's a whole bunch of plants over there. There's nothing else but plants. The fertilizer has to be somewhere else, right? And it happens to be in that little stand in the middle of the plants, which, it maybe looks pretty for other people, but it makes it very challenging to find. And so I thought that was a great video. Thank you, Jeanette. So those are the videos we have for today. I hope everyone liked them and learned a bit from them and saw what we could do with the eSight. We'll definitely open it up for some questions that anyone